Yo, 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 what's happening? What's happening? What's happening, folks? What's happening is me coming back at you again with another Hangout video. All right, this time we're gonna cover a lots of stuff. I mean, lots of stuff. But first, I want to just go ahead and cover something that you guys may not be aware of. I just got a little bit of news I want to share with you. Definitely gonna review the Groves and the Groves and Cox fight, no doubt. But something just came in that the Deontay Wilder and the Spence-Thurman rematch fight, there was no deal that has yet to been finalized for that fight, which is very odd to me. Now, according to the report on Boxing Scene by Rick Reno has said here, quote, BoxingScene.com has been advised that a deal has not been reached for Severn to challenge Deontay Wilder for the WBC title on November 4th in Showtime, televised from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Now, Severn's management team of Josh Dubin and Jay Prince have informed Boxing Scene they have yet to reach an agreement with Severn's promoter Don King. Now, according to Dubin and Prince, a deal was reached between King and his handlers, Wilder, but yet King has yet to discuss the agreed upon terms with Severn's manager or the fighter. Now, Severn, who is Wilder's mandatory challenger, was already scheduled to fight on the undercard on November event against Dominic Brazil. Now, the winner of Severn Brazil was guaranteed a shot at Wilder, but then Severn was catapulted to the main event after Wilder's original opponent Luis Ortiz was removed due to a random failed drug test. Which, by the way, we'll get to that in a second because Luis Ortiz was removed from the WBA rankings. Definitely got to get into that one later. Anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the comments section if anyone is chiming in on it right now. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. Okay, before I get into the comment section, y'all, I see a lot of people coming in. What's up, Quest? What's up, Joe Host? Coach, what's going on, man? Yep, Rick Reno. What's going on, Sadeem? Let's see. Charlie Brown, what's happening, brother? Let's see. Quest X says here, look, if this fight falls through, I don't know what to think. Exactly, man. That's I gotta read into it. We gotta get it to the bottom of this. Let me finish up the article here. It says here though, but the Showtime has already announced that the Wilder-Severn showdown will be the headliner of the card. Severn's managers, however, have been unable to get in contact with King to work out the financial details for the fight, and the boxer will not sign a bout agreement until those terms are being disclosed or worked out. Despite the current situation, Severn is actively training for the date and hopes the deal can be reached with his promoter. So the upcoming bout is a rematch of their January 2015 encounter, also televised by Showtime. Blah blah blah. So such yada yada yada. I'm gonna leave it at there. So there is no deal yet that has been reached between Wilder and Severn, even though the fight has been already advertised to go ahead on November 4th. All right, and that's about 3.5 weeks away. Now I'm pretty sure they'll work out something, but dude, if a deal hasn't been reached already, I mean, it's been what 4 or 5 days now since the fight's been announced. 4 or 5, 6 days now, a week now, and yet, week and a half, and yet no deal's been reached. I don't know. I don't understand what's going on here. I'm quite confused. First of all, Severn was already catapulted to that position, but yet there was still no deal that has yet to be reached. I don't know. That's kind of odd. So that takes me back to wondering what was that initial step aside agreement that Wilder Severn had brokered. So I don't understand this at all. So I don't quite understand. So my thing is this. My theory is this. So basically, when they brokered that step aside deal, if anything should have happened, Severn will have to take place. Have to automatically be catapulted to that rematch, rather than while they're looking for another opponent to fill in the date. So I guess that was part of the terms. However, one should easily argue that there's some financial situation negotiated if that situation does happen. So I don't know what's going on, man. This is very odd. Sadim says, I'm sick of this dude, Stavern. You know what, man? Hey, Stavern is a stubborn dude. He's a stubborn guy, but I don't think this is entirely his fault. I have to say this is probably Wilder's team and Don King. Whoever the parties involved here, this is bad business indeed, Charlie Brown. Bad business. I mean, seriously, this should have been worked out when Stavern got installed to headline that card to fill in that November 4th date. The deal should have been already been made. So that's why I'm confused here. Why hasn't the deal been made yet? Quest says, look, it probably comes down to money. Stavern wants more money to get beat up again. Well, that could be the case, but Stavern's already been paid to step aside money. So what more does he want? Now my thing is that why it could be they need to fill in the date right away, so that way it gives them enough time to negotiate. But still, though. But my thing is why would Showtime announce that this fight will be going ahead? Why would they headline this already without even a deal been reached yet? Yeah, like I said, it's a possibility. Yeah, I know Severn probably is trying to milk the situation, but we don't know. But to me, I think this is I don't know. Something's not right with this, in my opinion. Joe Host says here, this is irrelevant, but I just debated. This is irrelevant, but I just debated with a Joshua fans, and they just super protective of their boy. You know what, man? Here's the thing. I don't want to really get into this Joshua and Wilder beef situation, but let's be fair though. There are some radical Joshua fans, yes, and there are definitely some radical Wilder fans, yes. But the fact is that with me personally, I treat every fighter to the same standards. Even my favorite fighters, I always hold them to that same standard. The only thing I would argue is that if you're a big fan of a fighter, I got no problem with that. My only thing is just hold your fighter to the same standards that you don't like. You hold the other fighters that you don't like to that standard. So yeah, it's fanatics on both sides. I agree, Quest. Sadim says, "Well, give the fight to Amir Mansour." Hey, you know what? I'm cool with that one. I'm cool with that. I know a lot of people like to criticize Amir Mansour, the fact that he's not ranked highly enough, but to me, Amir Mansour is some reason he's being blackballed because when he fought Travis Kosman to get a ranking with the WBC, yeah, it's not a top 10 ranking, but he got a sanctioned body ranking in the top 15. He got the ranking after he beat Kaufman. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, abruptly, he gets removed from the rankings. From the WBC. I don't quite understand what's going on here. And the fact that Amir Mansour is getting ducked by a lot of guys, and a lot of guys are turning down fights against him. I mean, Povetkin turned down a fight against him. Dillian White turned down a fight against Mansour. Who else turned down a fight against him? Once upon a time, I hate to say this, y'all, Deontay Wilder did turn down a fight against Amir Mansour. He did. That was a long time ago. But if Wilder is willing to fight Mansour, all props to him. But like I said, the point is that Mansour is definitely better than what the rankings suggest him. And I think it'll be a good fight for Deontay. Yeah, I agree, Quest. It'll definitely be a good fight. K Black, shout out to K Black in here. K Black said it seems like no one wants to get in the ring with Wilder, mandatory title holders, etc. Yeah, there are some people who didn't want to get in the ring with him, like Zars Glaskov, and of course the Povetkin situation. Well, let me just be diplomatic here, man. There are some guys who didn't want to get in the ring with Wilder. I understand that. But let's be fair, though, man. I like Deontay Wilder, but there were a couple guys he didn't want to get in the ring with either. So let's be honest. I still want to see White versus Antonio Tarver. All that shit they talked last year. You know what, dude? You know what? Actually, I was clamoring for that, dude. I was really clamoring for that. I don't understand why that fight didn't come about. I really didn't understand why that fight didn't happen, man. But I don't know. I don't know. I know Tarver still got that black cloud over him where he failed 2 drug tests. After the second drug test he failed. Well, the first one he failed after Latif Coyote in the cruiserweight bout, and then the second fight he failed a drug test after the Steve Cunningham fight, which it resulted to a draw. But it is what it is. Yeah. So he's being blackballed because he's a pet user. Because I think no one wants to really don't trust Tarver. It's like, well, how can we trust you? You failed 2 drug tests within what, 3 years, 4 years, 3 years? Yeah, about 3 years. You failed 2 drug tests. So how can we trust you? So yeah, Tarver is gonna have. I don't think no one's gonna give him a shot ever again. I mean, the man's approaching 50 years old. I mean, he can still fight. I get that, but nobody's giving him a shot after those 2 failed drug tests. No. Now, as far as Povetkin is concerned, that's yet to be seen. However, he's still climbing within the rankings, and he's doing it very rapidly. So, yeah. But yeah, y'all. The thing is, the news. I want to put the news out that the Wilder-Stiverne fight has yet to been finalized. I don't know what's going on with that situation. And as Charlie Brown has said it best, man. Shout out to Charlie Brown Boxing. This is definitely bad business. I don't understand how could they not come to an agreement. It's been a week now since the fight got announced. I don't understand that. And don't get me wrong, this is not the fight I'm clamoring for. But the fact is that the to me, this is just amateurish in my opinion. You know, if a fight gets announced by a major network, a deal should have been in place before that network puts the fight out. And it puts it, announces it. This just looks bad in my opinion, on both sides. I mean, yes, Don King could be at fault because he's not disclosing the terms with his fighter on what the terms are. In fact, that his fighter has yet to sign on to the Wilder fight as of yet. So it could be on the Wilder side of things, and they're not, they're holding things up. I don't know what's going on, man. Sadim says here, Shannon Briggs versus Antonio Tarver, end of career fight. Hey, you know what's funny though? Because Tarver and Briggs were going at it too a couple years back. They were, they were going at it. Oh man, let me see. Let's see. My last dollar will bet that Staverne is holding out. You know what? It could be, man. It could be, but still, though, my thing is that if the fight has already been announced and it's been a week ago, and now the Staverne team has come out and said we haven't even signed on to the deal yet. I don't know what's going on here. So this to me is bad business. It's just bad PR, in my opinion. That you have a major network that's already announced the fight as a go without the terms being fully finalized. That just leaves a bad taste in people's mouths, man. Like I said, I'm not gonna put the full blame on Wilder for this. It could, like I said, it could go both ways. Like you said, it could be Staverne's holding out. That's why he's refused to sign on a deal. Or it could be Wilder's team that's kind of holding back to it. It could go either way, man. It's two sides of every story. So yeah, Quest says here, look, Wilder's a gambit fighter of the heavyweight division because he's learning on the job. He's unpredictable, so a lot of fighters hesitate because not only he's unpredictable, he has freakish power. Yeah. I mean, Wilder is a very awkward fighter. He's very unpredictable. His style is it's very awkward, very awkward. You know what I mean? It's technically awkward. I mean, like it's not like Ricardo Mayorga who's awkward all over the place. No. But what Wilder does, he has technique when it comes to his awkwardness. With his style. Uh, let's see here. But yeah, he's a gambit. But like I said, y'all, there's still fighters who want to fight Deontay Wilder in that division, man. I'm gonna keep it real. There's still fighters who want to fight him. All right, and here's my thing, man. I like Deontay Wilder, I really do. But the thing is, too, man. Look, I understand there's things that happen to you. You've had bad luck with fighters who failed drug tests against you, and you have some other opposition who didn't want to fight you. But you're still a heavyweight champion. You still have a career. You still gotta find some. You've got to find some opponents, some legitimate opponents out there. There's Andy Ruiz. There's Dillian White. I still think you should need to take that fight. Was it who else? Jarrell Big Baby Miller. That fight needs to come about. Dominic Brazil. That's a good fight. I mean, there's a lot of good fighters out there. Of course, Joseph Parker. I know we know about that situation. There's a lot of mixed messages going on there, especially with the Parker's camp on that. But definitely that fight needs to happen down the road. It has to happen. So there's a lot of fighters that he could fight. So let's see here. Charlie Brown says that Don King just promotes Staverne changed manager, which is true. Yeah, Charlie Brown also says that look, it's the fault of Wilder's team and Staverne's management. Yeah, that's again, y'all, I'm not going. Yeah, I agree with. I like Wilder, but I'm gonna have to take the stance with Charlie Brown on this one because I think both sides are at fault here. Something's not right at how a fight cannot be finalized when you have the November date locked in. I just don't understand that. That to me makes no sense. Well, actually, it's not finalized, but you got the November 4th date locked in. You have the venue booked. You have everything. The arena is agreed upon, but yet the financial terms hasn't been finalized. That I don't understand. I don't know what's going on. We're about 3 weeks away. So let's see. Saeed says, I just want to see the fight. I just want to see a fight. Keith Thurman is the new king of ducking. Yeah, we got to get on Keith Thurman on that one, man. I really got to get on him, man. I like Keith Thurman, man. I'm one of the big Keith Thurman fans, but I got to call for what it is. I do not like the way he's approaching this thing about Earl Spence. I don't like I don't like it at all, man. Now ever since he's got that, these big multi-million-dollar fights, he's a division champion. He's changed his rhetoric all of a sudden. I mean, after Floyd left, he's changed his rhetoric. He's like he's going to take it one fight at a time. He's cool fighting once a year, earning $4 or $5 million for $4 million for a fight. He's cool with that now. Ah, man. And I thought Keith Thurman is one of those guys, who's a breath of fresh air, a guy who wants to go in there and compete with the best. He don't care who it is. He had came up with that slogan, I ain't afraid to lose my O. So, you got to come get it if you want it. Well, Earl Spence wanted Keith, so why not give Earl Spence a shot? Oh, it may have to happen down the road. It may not happen. We'll see. Man. Oh, man. Just like I got on Anthony Joshua for saying this about the Wilder situation, just like I got on Wilder for saying say that about certain fighters. I mean, look, I got on Wilder and Joshua for using that type of rhetoric. I got on Parker's team for using that type of rhetoric. I got to get on Keith Thurman for doing the same thing, man. Yeah, he's got to stop it, man. Real talk. Yeah, he's got to stop it. Real talk. And another thing, let me see here. Dave says Joseph Parker needs to get mentioned. Yeah, definitely. He's a champion. Sometimes I don't understand why people exclude Joseph Parker, but the one thing I do not like, and I like Joseph too. I just don't like where his management are telling everyone that he's not ready for unification right now. That's bullshit, man. He's a champion. He's already beaten 3 top 10 guys. How could he's not ready for unification bout? I don't understand that. If he's not ready, meaning did he get hurt in that fight? No, I didn't see him get hurt against Harry Fury. Harry Fury didn't even come close to remotely hurting Joseph Parker. I don't know what he means by what Duco's Higgins, what he can do, what Higgins mean by he's not ready. I don't understand that. So let me see here. Quest says, look, somebody needs to get rid of White. He's annoying as hell. Hey, look, man, Dillian White is a shit talker, man. He knows how to sell a fight, man. That's the thing I like by Dillian White, bro. Yeah, he's annoying. He can be an ass, but he definitely knows how to sell a fight. I got to give Dillian White credit for that, bro. Let me see. Biff Lipstick says here, Wilder ain't going to pull that a couple week notice again. He's going to pull that again. Watch. Look, man, I hope it doesn't happen. I really don't. I really don't. Joho said this is a complete mess. Yeah, it is, man. This is a total mess, especially with the heavyweight division, man. This is a complete mess. Complete mess. I don't know what is going on here. And me and one of my buddies are having a conversation about this. In fact, we had a conversation on this on one of my hangouts. I think Blood and I had to talk about this. If you look at things right now, Mr. Document and D-Style, we all had to talk about this. If you look at the heavyweight division back in the 80s, and Tyson got criticized for the opposition he fought back in the 80s, right? And they were very good competition. They were very good opposition. Yes, most of those fighters were underachievers because they all fought each other, but then all of them ran into Tyson, and Tyson completely cleaned them all out. Okay? So here's the thing. If you look at the 80s division, you look at the guys that came out of that division. You had the Mike Weavers, you had the Greg Pages, you had the Peakland Thomases, the Jerry Coateses, and well, that's early 80s, but up to mid-late 80s. Yeah, still. You have Tim Witherspoon. You had Bone Crusher Smith. You had, of course, Mike Tyson. You had Michael Spinks, who got into the picture briefly, though. Evander Holyfield, who got into that picture briefly, but at that time, well, he started to get in the late 80s, so I guess we shouldn't really count that to some degree, but I don't know. I'll count him in there anyway. Uh, Tucker. You have Tony Tubbs. I mean, if you look at all uh, those crop of fighters that came out of the 80s that emerged, that all fought through the 80s, right? And you compare contrast to the fighters of today in the heavyweight division, the 80s fighters are much better, man, because of the fact that they all fought each other. They all fought the best. They fought Tyson. They all fought each other, man. We all got good fights in the 80s. And yeah, you could criticize that division because it wasn't, elite as it was in the 70s and so forth. But the fact is, if you look at it today and you compare and contrast it to the 80s, I mean, to today's heavyweights, the 80s blow those guys away, man. I'm just being honest, man. They blow them away. I guess the reason why I'm critical of today's heavyweights now because there's just no activity, man. I'm just being honest. There's no activity. We got to get these fighters active, man. I know Anthony Joshua's doing his thing. That's great. I mean, Deontay Wilder is trying to do it. I get that. But we still got to get some activities from these other heavyweights. We got to get some activity, man. We got to. This heavyweight division has the potential to become one of the best heavyweights we've ever seen. We were on the verge of that after Tyson Fury had beat Klitschko, but it seems like these fighters just, I don't know what is going on, man. I don't know what it is, man. It's either these guys are just pricing themselves out. It's just all kind of stuff. D-Style, what's up on D-Style? What's going on, man? He says that it's not just activity, they're just not as good. You know what? D-Style, that's probably true. That you're probably right about that because if you match Mike Weaver against let's say Dominic Brazil, I take Mike Weaver over Dominic Brazil. I'm just being honest. Or if you match Tim Witherspoon against a Bermain-Stiverne, I'll definitely take it Tim Witherspoon over Bermain-Stiverne or Peakley Thomas. I mean, let's be honest, man. I really think that the 80s back then were, the 80s were guys were much more athletic. They were much more better conditioned than they are today as far as the heavyweights concerned. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Of course, you got the best heavyweight at that time, number one pound for pound fighter, Mike Tyson. Obviously, if you put him up in today's top heavyweights, I'd definitely take it Tyson over. Definitely taking Tyson over Joshua Wilder. Definitely taking Tyson over those two guys. Let's be honest. Let's see here. Red Fox. Red Fox here's what's going on to Red Fox. Red Fox is Wilder versus Bermain Cantern. What do you mean by that, bruh? What do you mean by that? Let's see. Oh, by the way, guys, if you want to jump on and hang out, please let me know. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and post a link in one of my buddies' chats if they want to get on. I know I've been on this for a minute. Let's see here. I know EJ wanted to get on. Let me see if he wants to get on. We're going to go over the Groves and Cox fight, too. There's a lot of stuff we're going to discuss, guys. A lot of stuff. Yeah, I just wanted to put the news out that the Severn and Wilder fight has yet to be finalized, and I do not understand it at all. I know we got the big 154-pound division card coming up later today, a couple hours, but I wanted to get this in real quickly. Let's see. Let's see. You guys in here? What else? Looks like somebody came on.
Yeah, baby.
What up, Brian?
Ready to go?
What's happening, bro?
I just went and got my fire stick because every time I get a fire stick, I end up selling it to somebody else.
A word
for $100, and then I go get one for 40. but I'm gonna go home right now, put Mob Dro on there so I can get my free Showtime live stream. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you, dog. I hear you.
Get ready to watch that Charlo brother go down. So I'm not really necessarily looking forward to see him going down like the Jamal or what's his name, Jermel, but it just
yeah.
I think the whole Charlo name in general is just a little bit overhyped, and
Right.
I think that's why they're throwing him in there though, man, to be honest with you, because I think the reason why they're throwing him in there, both of these guys in there together, is because somebody's gonna come out more of a star at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? One of these two guys are gonna come out, and I feel if they think that old buddy like Lubin can beat him, if they think that they can beat him, then that's gonna basically be using Jermel as a springboard to success. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I see what you're saying on that one, but I disagree with you about the Charlos being overrated.
I mean, what I'm saying too is now it's always up for debate or subjective as far as we're talking about them being a good fighter. What I'm talking about when I say overrated, I mean as far as a big name. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to really hype the Charlo name up, but money wise, they're not as big as they. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean, like money wise. So by throwing him in there, throwing him in there, they can actually turn a mediocre name into a big name by throwing him in tough fights. You see what I'm saying? Especially Jermel, because Jamal is actually the better of the two as far as the bigger names, I think, out of the two. And he's right in position to maybe get eventually get a big fight at middleweight. But Jermel, I mean, he's a good fighter. He might be the better boxer out of the two brothers, but name-wise, he's not that exciting as Jamal style-wise. So they go ahead and put him in there and try to build him a little bit different, and they trying to build I think that's why they brought him along different than Jamal, because Jamal's had a little bit, but you know what I'm saying, a little bit easier walk than I think Jermell, right? Am I right?
Right.
And that's what it
Right.
is because
Right.
Jermell is actually going to have to prove himself a little bit more because he is the more, boxer type and not the puncher type. You know what I'm saying? What? And then
Right.
throw him
Right.
in there. But as far as Lubin, they must really, I mean, they must really think this guy is the shit because honestly, with Lubin only having that many fights, to put him in there with Jermell, I mean, they must really think highly of I mean,
Right.
because I mean, it should be a tough fight. But I mean, why would you do that, man? Why would you risk if you didn't think this guy was gonna come out on top? Why would you risk throwing? Because honestly, and again, I think Lubin has a better chance to be a bigger star than both Charlo brothers. So in that sense, why wouldn't you build that guy a little bit alone because he's the flashier, he got the power and the slickness. So why would you, you know what I'm saying? Like he's dramatic. So why would you just throw him in? Why wouldn't you just slowly build him up? So something tells me they got confidence in this dude just going in there and just destroying. You know?
Who? Erickson Lubin.
Yeah.
Erickson Lubin. So that you think they're putting him in there because well, look, here's the thing.
I
That
mean,
that there
must
could be
have.
some sense of confidence. Yeah, there could be. There could be some sense of confidence that he could beat Charlo. I just don't see it right now. I think it's to me based off his opposition that he's fought. He's had a tough time in his last fight. Erickson Lubin. He's got some talent,
Yeah.
man. He's definitely got some skills. But to me, I just think he's not ready for this fight right now. I'm
Yeah.
just saying. I'll be honest with you. And you can't fault Charlo for that because this is a mandatory shot.
Yeah.
So he's got to take it. Either he fights him or he's going to get stripped. So
Well, why not?
if Charlo wins it,
Well,
They're
why
both
not
fought. They're
move?
both
Well,
young.
why not move Lubin along slower? Then, if he's not ready, why not? Thinking as spectacular of a guy he is, you don't want to put that flame out. You see what I'm saying, like that. So I don't know, man. I
well, yeah,
think
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
they know something
yeah. I
we
see
don't
what you're
know.
saying. I think. Yeah, that's what I just said. I think they may know something we don't know. If they feel he's ready for the
Mhm.
fight, cool. But what's up, Charlie Brown?
What's up? What's up, Dan, man? Yeah,
What's going on, man?
yeah. I was
Yeah,
just listening. I'll let you talk.
but
Go ahead.
yeah. I was going to say real quick, but then I'll let you come in. I was going to say though, yeah, they may think he's ready, but
Mhm.
to me, I don't know, man. I mean, look, this is boxing. You got to gamble. You got to take risks.
Mm-hmm.
The sport is all about. But to me, I just think that. I mean, Lubin. I mean, he is
Oh,
mandatory. He is put in that position. But the
yeah,
thing is, to me, I just think he's not ready for the shot. He should at least
yeah.
give at least another fight or two, then go ahead and take your mandatory shot. That's
Well,
just
the
my
only
opinion.
thing, that I can really, I've seen him spar. I think I've seen that sparring session with him and Amir Ahman. And the only thing I
Right.
can really say about dude, as far as beyond his skills, because it may not be his experience that they're looking at, it may be the dog in him and everything together. Because guys, when you got that dog in you and you going, you can go and push the guy and break opponents' wheels. That may have something to do with it because when in that sparring session, I know it's a sparring session, but it just looks like the dude. He's really he's got really good defense inside the pocket. I will say that. He went and
Yeah.
like a lot of fighters, like kind of like Errol Spence, but maybe even a little bit better defense. But he works the body. I'm not sure if he's quite a good body puncher, but I mean them left hooks are pretty nasty. You know what I'm saying? All the way around on inside.
Yeah.
And
I, I
Yeah.
agree as well. I think also it's what he's done in a short space of time at a young age as well.
hmm
He's been, I mean, he's been in there with, I think his first two fights were against unbeaten fighters, and then he stepped
Right.
up. Yeah, and then he kind of
Right.
stepped it up very quickly. He won the WBC Fecker box title, didn't he?
Yeah.
In back in 2014. So he's for me, he's been matched very well, although the names, you don't recognize the names that are on his record. He's been matched very well. So I think he's young, he's hungry, and I've picked him for an upset. I don't know how he's going to do it, whether it's on points or by a stoppage, but I've got him for an upset as well.
Oh, another thing too is that I noticed that.
What's up, Brian? Brian, I lost you, brother. Can you say that again? Brian. I'll wait for him to get back on. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a good point, man. You know, you got Wilder-Stiverne on here. That's the only name I recognize on his resume. But other than that, I mean, he had a tough time in that fight. I mean, before he got the TKO stoppage, he had a very tough time in that fight. But
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know, man. To me, I like the guy. There's Brian. I like the guy, but to me, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I believe it. You know, hey, this is. I don't know, man. I'm just not quite convinced that he's ready for the fight. If he does pull it off, I'm gonna say this: if he pulls a Jeff Horn, I'll say, you know what? He proved me wrong. Eric Salubin, shout out to you, brother. Everybody said I was wrong about this. I can give you guys credit, like you, Charlie Brown. If you think he's ready for it, if he pulls off this win, I got to give you props on my post fight hangout video.
Hey, another thing I noticed too was like Jermell may have the experience in ring a little bit in ring control, maybe.
Right.
And just you know what I'm saying, being able to timing it, you know, like the experience factor, like the timing and things like that, being able to gauge time. But one thing I do notice is that Lubin is more explosive, for sure. Like he got more power, and when he goes, like, I mean, he can literally throw combinations with some speed when he wants to. And then that crazy ass like left hand he's got this left hand, that same left hand that made Donna hit drop Broner with in the first round or whatever, where it looks like it's coming, and then all of a sudden it's like an off speed pitch or something.
Right.
It's like he'll feint and throw that left hand, and then it'll come, and his still comes with power even on the last. It's like a wide shot, but you know, but he has that left hand, and that's kind of tricky. He's a tricky dude, but like I said, he got more explosive and more snap, a little bit more snap on his speed advantage is gonna go to now you may not see it because when he's fighting slow, he's slow, but then all of a sudden the speed comes. You know, it's like boom. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll be fighting at one speed, moving at one, all of a sudden exploded at another speed. Watch out for two more gifted. You guys there?
Right. Yeah, we're there, man. We're there, man. You was faded out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm still there.
Jermell's not nothing special. Jermell's nothing special. He's just a seasoned fighter that they brought both of those along pretty good. You know, they brought them along lower. You know, I see a loss in both of them, but it's just that, you know, when you bring fighters along, they get better. You know what I'm saying? They get better. But as far as just
also
they not all that gifted wise.
Yeah.
I think also people are getting Jamel confused with Jamal. Like the one at middleweight, the older brother. He's the one that he looks really good against Sebastian Highland this year. So I think people are kind of riding off of that performance. And they're expecting his brother to be the same, but him and his brother are completely different.
Well, you ain't talking about the guy with the injured leg, are you?
Yeah, the Argentinian. Yeah, but he still looked good though.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't. It's hard to say because, I mean, it's hard to judge him on that fight because the guy's leg was fucked up, and I know it ain't his fault. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it could have been a situation where, because the guy's leg was fucked up, it threw him off his game. Because sometimes when a guy's injured like that, now he's looking for a knockout. You see what I'm saying? Like now Jamal was looking for a knockout, and that could have actually made him look worse if he'd have went in there with somebody who was not injured. But another look is that you can say that he should have got the guy out there, and the guy out of there sooner than 4 rounds or 5 rounds because the dude was injured. So it's a couple ways you can look at that. And I have to see him in another middleweight fight because that was his first middleweight fight. So I think it was, or a second one. Was it first middleweight?
This is his first
Second
middleweight
one.
fight.
Yeah. So I have to
No,
see him in
yeah.
there with a live middleweight to gauge. And this is the crazy part. It's like, oh, Jamal can knock out, like, can he go up and beat Canelo and Triple G and whoever else at middleweight? And I'm like, dude, the guy haven't really fought nobody at middleweight to even make that determination.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so we don't even know how he's going to look. I'm just saying, until we actually see him and see how he's going to look against our live middleweight, then we can make it determine if he can do that. But just saying,
That's
he's going to blow him out, that's just ridiculous.
no, I don't agree with that. I'm just saying that's what a lot of people that's what a lot of people are saying. Yeah, it's like, and I think what people are doing with Charlo and Lubin is that they're looking at the older brother and saying, well, he did that at middleweight, so we expect Jamel to do that against Lubin, but it's going to be a different type of fight.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Definitely, you guys make some good points on that. But we'll see, man. Can't wait for it to happen later tonight. But let's switch gears a little bit here. George Groves fought Brian Cox today. Before I get to that fight, I know, man. Before I get into that, I know Brian's going to chime in on this. I know he's going to have something to say here.
What's that?
George Groves.
Yeah.
He came out and said that Golovkin better not come up to 168. He's too small.
Yeah.
And this is what he had to say. He said, look, I think certainly Alvarez is too small and Golovkin is too small.
Yeah.
So how well does Golovkin do? I mean, he's getting on a bit. He's got so much power, which I think is overrated. He'll lose an edge to power coming up. Now the big guys that he's fought lately, he hasn't quite had the success with, like Jacobs, when Groves told Boxing News. He said, look, so it's like anything. The bigger you are, the bigger you're going to absorb the shot. He's going to fight at super middleweight, 13 plus stones. His power isn't going to be the same. He doesn't need, but he's a big man in middleweight. But there's no fights from there. But I wish he stayed there. So, in other words, Groves is saying to Golovkin, don't come up to super middleweight because your ass is going to get knocked out.
Well,
what do you think about that?
For me, I would have to see how Triple G, as far as getting knocked out, I don't believe he's in danger of being knocked out by any 168 pounder. But do I think can he lose at 168? That's a possibility. I mean, that could be. I mean, we don't know. I don't think he gets knocked out. Maybe he could possibly get knocked out at 175, but 168, I don't see. I think his chin will hold up at 168. As far as Groves concerned, I think he beats Groves. I don't think that Groves is a threat at 160. Yeah, I think he beats Groves. Nah. Because I'll tell you why. Because I learned this a long time ago about fighting. I learned this a lot, and I don't think Groves is that much more skilled. And I think I mean, that's debatable who has the better skills between Golovkin. And you got to think, man, any guy moving from a smaller weight class to a heavier is always going to be a little bit more fundamental, having to use a little bit more fundamentals and a little bit more speed. They always have a little bit more speed. You don't want Golovkin to definitely have a speed advantage coming from a smaller weight class. Like, that's not a good look. But it depends on how much weight, how he is at the weight, what he weighs in and how comfortable he is and how much, how he looks and things like that. Because he may go up and surprise everybody and be bigger than, you think he would be. And then it's like, oh, well, what are you saying now? Like, all the guys that are saying that now, and then he moves up and then all of a sudden he's absorbing their punishment. And then it's like, oh, well, I thought, so, but as far as the skill-wise, I just think that, on the high, and this is what I think I've learned is boxing is mental. Yeah. And the big thing about Golovkin, I'm going to tell you why Golovkin is more successful than anything is he has all that amateur background, and that helps. But the thing is it's the mental part. When he gets in there with the guys, he can mentally compose himself, and he can mentally stick to a game plan. And he's just really good at what he does. And so I think Groves, I think I've seen Groves mentally, sort of change, and I've seen him break his game plan, do a lot of things, that and a lot of people criticize Golovkin because they say, oh, he's one-dimensional. But if Golovkin knows that he can beat you with that dimension that he has, and here's where I don't believe that any fighter on that level is one-dimensional. I believe certain fighters show more dimension in the ring than other fighters, but none of those fighters are one-dimensional. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on that level. So to me, it's a very arrogant thing for a fan to say, oh yeah, Canelo's one-dimensional. Like, he wouldn't even be fighting you know, he wouldn't even be on that level if he was one dimensional. I mean, you know, come on, man. I mean, bum, even a bum ain't one dimensional. I mean, it's just a stupid word to mention to say. But I mean, I kind of understand what they're saying, but it's just the word don't really hold weight with the level of fight boxing on that level. So I would just say one guy like Terrence Crawford he's gonna show more dimension in the ring because he chooses to be that type of fighter. He doesn't want to. He chooses to be a smarter fighter, and that's I'll put it at that. Whereas Golovkin, if he thinks he can beat you at something, he's gonna try to do that if he can break you down and beat you mentally at that game. You know what I mean? So that's his choice. And does that choice always come out on top? I mean, if you're fighting a guy like Lomachenko, Rigondeaux, or Mayweather, I mean, you probably won't be successful with that style. But if he can beat everybody else besides that level, why not? Fuck it. If he can beat everybody except for the high A+ level, why not? Fuck it. You know, and if you could, I mean, and if you consider Andre Ward on that level, then that's another guy that he probably couldn't beat. But those are the top guys. So if he can beat everybody except for those guys, that's still saying a lot. You know what I'm saying? That's saying, okay, well, you know, a win is a fucking win. I don't care if it's one dimensional or not. He beat you with that one dimensional. What's that say about you? If a guy that's one dimensional beat your ass, what does that say?
Well, that's a good point.
You know?
Yeah, style makes fight. Everybody has a variety of styles to winning a fight. So I see what you're saying. So Charlie Brown, what do you think, man? What do you think about that?
George Groves, he has to get through Chris Eubank now, and then hopefully, if he gets through that fight, he has to go in the final against Bramer, Brandt, or Callum Smith. I think he looked poor today. I think even though he won, and it was a very, very good punch to the solar plex, he looked poor. He looked like he's gone backwards as a fighter. I'm being honest, and I picked him to win the tournament. I picked him to win the tournament, but I'm looking at him now, thinking, boy, he's gone backwards as a fighter. Jamie Cox, made him look kind of bad. He was kind of bad in there. Jamie Cox, I was going to say Jamie Foxx. Jamie Cox was better than expected. As well, and he was hitting him with punches that Groves normally wouldn't get punched with. When you look at the performance against Carl Froch, look at it, the first one, and then look at that performance tonight. He's I forgot what the word is called. Regressed. He's regressed as a fighter, man. I just believe he's there for the money, and he's gonna get badly hurt by Chris Eubank because Chris Eubank's very athletic. Has got good fast reflexes. He's not going to give him that kind of thinking time.
Yeah,
and it's not a good thing. What I saw today Groves is going to have to almost have a very good camp. He's going to have to improve, but he's been with 3 trainers now: Adam Booth, Paddy Fitzpatrick, and now he's with Shane McGuigan. And he's still got stamina issues. He was blowing hard after that second round. Don't get me wrong, I picked Groves to win the fight, but he just looked poor today. I after that fight, I was thinking, nah, Chris Eubanks already won it in my mind. Already. Just based on the athleticism.
Let me ask you another thing too. Is Golovkin's is his competition gonna go up when he goes to 68, or is it going to go down? Because there are a lot of people at 68 are coming up. You know, Charlo, and then you still got whatchamacallit. You still got Danny.
The Durrell brothers.
So what's that? What's that 68? And then you also got what's his name? Not Laura, but the other guy that's coming up to 60. Who didn't absolutely do shit at 54. But he can still outbox
Andrade.
Yeah, Andrade. Yeah, so you got him. So I mean, honestly, if he's going up to 60, I mean, it might be like stepping back into the old middleweight division. It might be going a little, in a sense, it might be like he's and he might get criticized and say you need to go back down. Wouldn't that be some shit if he moved up and he actually did well? And they said, "Oh, you need to move back down, man." He ran for the competition.
Nah, you can't say that about Golovkin. There's one thing you can't say about him. He fought the best guys at 160. If he goes up to not fight Charlo, that's when he gets criticized.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
if you got all them damn title defenses and you've been at middleweight dominating, I can't see how. And I mean, if he does decide to get
brother, we cannot
Billy
count
Joe Sanders,
wait, we cannot count the
is he gonna be
WBA
able?
regular title. We cannot count that
But
one.
I mean,
Brother.
is he gonna be able to? But is he gonna be able to? Is he gonna be able to get the Billy Joe fight, or is that gonna be a problem?
Nah, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. I don't think Billy Joe's gonna go for that fight. It's not gonna happen. But I was gonna say one thing about the George Groves performance today. I do agree with you on this one, Charlie Brown. Groves looked like he's definitely slipping. Okay, I think Hatman made this comment in his video too. I mean, one of his videos. George Groves definitely looked like he lost a lot of steps after that second Carl Froch fight. Yes, he's he's had some bad luck after Carl Froch, the second fight, and then then lost against what's the name, Badu Jack. They got a couple of wins in there against Chudanov, whatnot, in his successful first title defenses. Even so, he's looked like he slipped. Even against the Edward Guchnet fight. He fought his heart out, but still, didn't look too good in there either. So he's definitely lost a lot of steps. I mean, Brian Cox, I really expected. Trust me, I'm actually, I'm just like you. I picked Groves to win this fight. I said that he was not going to have no problem with Brian Cox. Even when that fight lasted only 4 rounds, he was having a lot of problems in there because Cox was pressuring him, and Cox didn't really land any clean shots, fairly nothing, effective shots. But still, though. Yeah. I didn't expect him to have a tough time with his pressure style. And to me, I'm like, you know what? Here's the thing. If he fights Eubank, I'm going Eubank on this one. Eubank was on the ring sign, and Eubanks were looking at that fight. They're like, oh, man, you're not going to be no problem with us. You're not going to give us any trouble. You're not going to give us any trouble. I mean, he looks slow. I mean, he's, don't get me wrong, he still got some quick counter shots, quick hands to some extent. But yeah, Eubank is going to time him at long range. I know some people say that Eubank have a tough time with boxers from long range, but Groves, nah. Groves looked too hesitant to me when he tried to fight at long range. I think what Eubank's going to have to do, he's going to have to slip inside, get underneath that jab, get underneath his right cross, and then start applying the pressure and hit him with some uppercuts in the inside.
And Eubanks is going to fight. He's moving up to 68 too.
Oh, he's already at 68. He's been there for a while now.
Who?
Yeah, he's been there for a while.
He was supposed to fight Golovkin.
Yeah, but that fight, you know what happened to that fight, bro. Then after that,
160. Now, prior to that, was he at 160 prior to that Golovkin fight?
Yes, he was.
Okay, well, he ain't been there long because how many fights he's got at 68?
He's got 3 fights so far. 3.
How the hell did he fight 3 times since the Kell Brook fight?
Well, he's got a fight against he fought there 3 times. He got against one against his first fight was against for the IBO title against Ronald Quinlan.
That's right.
I'm trying to figure out if he's as good as people say. How come he lost? I mean, how come he lost to Billy Joe Saunders? I mean, I'm not saying Saunders is not a decent fighter, but I'm just saying I seen Saunders fight and he don't got. Saunders don't have that killer instinct, and he's a decent boxer, but he's not that good of a boxer, and he doesn't have a killer instinct. So I don't see a high level fighter shouldn't be having any problems beating Billy Joe Saunders.
Well, Billy Joe is a good boxer. He just don't have power.
He's decent, but I'm just saying he doesn't have that killer instinct, and he's not like super good boxer.
Yeah. No, I know. No, I agree with you, but his skills are definitely unquestionable. I think that's why. I think what happened with Eubank was that Eubank kind of underestimated his boxing ability, and Eubank lost the fight himself as well. He kind of threw away the first 6 rounds to him, which you don't do in Britain, especially when it was a hostile environment,
right?
Where the whole nation are not favorable of your father. So you kind of, for whatever reason, whether they love him or hate him, you still got to be clinical for at least 7 rounds of a fight. You know what I mean? Right. So, and that's what happened. That's why he lost the fight with Billy Joe. So I mean, I was one of his biggest critics, I have to admit, but he's kind of won me over from for the last 3 fights. Chris Eubank Jr. That is, because I just think he's improved a great deal at 168. He's great. He's really athletic, and like the way he handled Yildirim, a guy who came down from light heavyweight. Okay, he was very limited, hadn't done anything at 168, but he still had fought twice this year at 168 and beaten Marco Paraban. So, and to see George Groves, that performance tonight, the way Jamie Cox was able to bully him, push him back, and have him in trouble quite a few times in that fight. I just think if he gives that kind of space and time to Eubank Jr., Eubank Jr. is going to knock him out. It might even be a technical knockout somewhere early, probably in the same 4 or 5 rounds. I mean, it could be that one-sided. Yeah, I would have given George Groves a points loss before the fight to Eubank. Now I see Eubank knocking him out, literally like outclassing him.
I think so. I think to me, Eubank's going to outclass him. But if he does stop him on a TKO, it won't surprise me. So based off that performance, we can't. Some people say you can't really read too much into performances. I get that, but again, we have to defer to the point that looking at George Groves' last few fights, man, he's definitely lost some steps. Man, he's lost a step. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
To me, again, going in there against Eubank, I don't think. I don't think that. I don't think. I think Eubank won't have too much time, too much problems with George Groves. I'm just being honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I really don't. I really see that at this point. I know some people may disagree with me on this, but let's be logical here. I think most people will agree with me and Charlie Brown on this one, based off what we saw in there today and in Groves' last few fights. But let me go to the comment section because some guys had a lot to say about this.
Yeah.
D Style said the Super 6 is a lot better than the World Boxing Super Series. I think it is because you actually had a lot of champions, a lot of top fighters in there who fought in that division. I mean, in that tournament. As opposed to the Super Series, I mean, there's some top fighters there too. There's some fighters who declined the invitation. I get that. I guess because the names, for the namesake, is probably the Super 6 outbeats the World Boxing Super Series. That's probably why people would say it's better. Because you had Kessler in there, you had Froch, you had Ward, you had Abraham, you had Taylor, you had Darrell, you had the replacements Alan Green, and so those are a lot of big names in there. So that would probably be the case here. But let's go over here. Some people says that Usyk is gonna win the Super Series, and some people say that Dorticos is gonna beat him. I don't know. That's gonna be a tough fight at the cruiserweight side. Dorticos versus Usyk.
Well, they still got no. It's Dorticos versus the winner of Gassiev and Lodzisik. Usyk's fighting Bradis. So we have to see Usyk beat Bradis first. We can't just jump the gun. There's a semi-final
right now. Yeah, that's true. People are jumping the gun here. That's the thing. So I understand that because based on what Dorticos did to Khrushchev, people didn't expect that to happen because they thought Khrushchev was going to win that fight.
Yeah,
and he wiped it out.
I had Dorticos winning that fight though. I picked him to win that fight, but a lot of people had Kudryashov.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad, it was good. Yeah, I mean, the Dorticos, but like you said, we jump in the gun. They still got semi-final matches they got to get through, and once they do that, then we'll have that unification bout. Because Usyk is going in against Bradis, that's a unification bout. So whoever the winner is get 2 belts, so that's a good thing. Let's see what we got here, man. Great Drake, shout out to Great Drake. He said, "Look, they talk about the Kell Brook situation with Golovkin. They said, look, I rather would see Jay Scales step in instead of Brook. Yeah, I know. But we can't go back to the past. But it is what it is, man. Let me see. St. Cruiser, what's going on? St. Cruiser said here, I had Cox winning the first 2-3 rounds, and then Eubank beats up Groves, in my opinion. Yeah, we all agree with you on that. I don't think I gave Cox 1 round. Like I said, none of the rounds were very significant by either fighter. But the one thing I would say, though, like I said, Groves was getting pushed back by Cox. that's something I did not expect to happen. So, while that fight lasted. Let's see what else we got here. Oh yeah, yeah. You know what, man? You and I, Charlie Brown, we got to talk about this one. I mentioned this earlier on top of the broadcast, on top of the hangout.
Yeah,
Wilder-Stiverne is not finalized yet.
yeah.
Now, I don't know, man. What is going on with this one, man? You give me your
Uh,
take on this one. Brian probably could chime into it once he's back in.
yeah. Yeah. Now, oh boy, I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go too hard on Wilder because I don't think it's actually Wilder's fault now. But
Right,
initially, he should have just taken the fight anyway and gone to try to get it on TV networks. I think the whole
right,
thing. I now that I'm looking at it, it seems like they sort of strung Ortiz along. That's both
right,
sides. All right. No,
right,
Stavern and Wilder's side. They strung Ortiz along to get the public interest because they knew the public would want that fight. Then once
right.
they got it on the network, they brought up this whole thing with the the blood pressure meds and all of this shit as used as masking agents. That I never believed it. As you know, like on my channel, I always defended Ortiz, so I knew it was BS. I just thought it was a straight Wilder was ducking him. Wilder probably didn't like the feedback he was getting from social media. I think um, a lot of people were saying that Ortiz were backing Ortiz. So I think he kind of got spooked, or it was more a case of he just wanted to get it on a network, and then obviously he knew all this was going to transpire, and they would put Stavern in the frame to make the rematch. I always knew from the beginning that Stavern would get his way anyway, either way. I said even if he had to do voodoo on put voodoo on Wilder, he would do to get that fight. So I don't know what's happened now. I think it's a case of Don King and the management because Stavern changed. He removed Don King or whoever was managing him, his old manager as manager, and he had these two new people. I forgot the
Yeah,
names of them, but yeah, you remember
Hubie
them.
and Jay Prince. Yeah, they
That's
represent
right.
Andre Ward. So yeah,
That's right. Yeah. So he instated those two people, and I think um I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened with Stevan. I think once he got the step aside money, I don't know. I'm assuming it's one of two things. Either uh he got the step aside money and there's some problems about him getting that back, or he wants some money on top, I would assume. I can't imagine
yeah.
the step aside money being more than what they're offering, or he's either had to give back the step aside money and now they're giving him less to fight. And he's
Right.
not having it. He's doing a Ray Robinson.
That's that's probably what it is. It could be, yeah, it could be on the Savard side. He could be holding out because he wants to get something more lucrative out of
Yeah,
the deal that they're giving him now. So that's probably why it hasn't been finalized. But then again, this is just poor way of handling things because first of all, the fight got announced a week for
yeah,
November 4th. Showtime has already put it out in an announcement. Now we find out the deal still yet to be finalized. You got the venue booked, the tickets already went out on sale. So
yeah,
what in the
yeah.
world is going on here? It's just like, again, I'm not, people are gonna blame Wilders for this. We can't entirely blame him, but to me,
No,
I still blame both sides here. But
yeah.
maybe
So do
more
I.
so on Staver's side. Yeah,
Yeah,
more
yeah.
so on Staver's side. Yeah,
We,
so I don't know what is going on here, man. They need. I mean, to me, let's be honest, we don't really want to see this fight to begin with, but at the same time, it just
mhm.
looks bad that it's been advertised already, and you still got this outstanding issue when it comes to
Well,
the financial.
I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see it because I believe it will be competitive. I wouldn't want to. The reason why I'm going easy on Wilder is because
Uh,
I wouldn't want to think that he got spooked by Stavern. Maybe
Yeah, I
he's
don't think
heard
so.
something about Stavern's camp or something.
He didn't.
Maybe,
Did he ever hurt Stavern in that fight? The first fight.
Yeah, he
yeah,
heard him. He heard him many
yeah,
times.
rocked him
Wilder,
quite a few
he heard
times.
Yeah,
him.
but Stavern's been hurt against other guys. Like what was that fight he fought before that?
What you call? What's his name? Damn, what's his name? Ray Austin. Ray Austin.
No, when they had like a rematch and he fought some guy twice. Which guy was it? Did he?
Chris Ariella.
Areola.
Chris
Was it?
Ariella.
Yeah, he's been hurt in that fight. And I'm not saying Chris can punch, but styles make fights. How did Stavern look as far as besides just being hurt? Because that don't really tell us nothing. I mean, like skill wise and just being able to compete against.
Well, skill wise, well, first of all, if you look, Demetrius King, he got knocked out by Demetrius King. That's one. Yeah, Red Fox mentioned that. Shout out to Red Fox on that. Mr. Doc is in there too. And Mr. Doc,
Okay.
let me know if you want to get in on the chat, man. But the Stavern, technically, from a technical standpoint, between Stavern and Areola, that was a technical mismatch.
No, I'm
Stavern was a
saying
much
with the
more
first fight with Wilder, how was
with
that technical wise?
technical wise. Wilder looked much better technical wise than this Stavern. Stavern looked lost. He looked very slow. I mean, he never was always quick, but
Mm-hmm.
he just
He
couldn't get
couldn't
off his
solve. He
counter
couldn't
shot.
solve the physical puzzle or the puzzle of the physical uh, um, attributes of Wilder. He couldn't solve that puzzle.
Right. He could solve the
Yeah.
puzzle. I don't think he didn't expect Wilder to box at long range. He didn't expect that. He expected
Yeah,
Wilder to come at him and try to blow him away because you have to understand Severn is a counterpuncher. He likes
Right.
guys
Mm-hmm.
and when Wilder kept his distance and kept him at him of his jab, he didn't expect that. So that forced Severn to come at him and try to pressure him. And Severn's not a good pressure fighter. And that's
But
why he was not able to cut off.
that also inhibited Wilder from getting the knockout and you know so going into it, if Wilder's like trying to get a knockout or trying to be more impressive, that could give Stavern a couple more chances, to maybe do
Yeah.
his inside work
Well,
like he is counterpunching.
Well, here's the thing. Severn's going to have to make some serious adjustments. It's been 2 years he's been in the ring, so that's another thing that kind of
Oh shit!
yeah, it's
Yeah.
been 2 years. And that's the first thing. Number two, he's gonna have to show me that he can adjust by coming forward rather than try to go backwards and fight off that back foot. Because he didn't show that he was not effective at all when he in the first fight against Wilder. So it'd be interesting to see if he improved on cutting off the ring,
yeah.
able to be more effective from a pressure standpoint off the front foot. So that we have to see if the fight does get to November 4th. Because if the deal's yet been finalized, I don't know. you
It should
know,
be.
if
It
it
should
just
be. It should be okay. I just think it's probably the fact that it's something to do with the step aside money and the actual purse they're offering. That's what I think it is. Because obviously you would expect some money on top of step aside
right,
money, or if it was a
right.
considerable amount more, the step aside money, and you're taking less money for the actual fight itself, there's going to be
Yeah.
a he's going to be like, well, wait a minute. Let's say you gave me 2 million to step aside. You can't be giving me 800,000. You know what I mean? That's if that's if it's Wilder's. Sorry, that's if it's Stavern's fault, or
right.
it's either that or maybe Wilder's spooked, man. Maybe he's
Well,
like,
yeah,
shit, man. I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight
yeah.
Stavern either, man. He's hungry. You know what I mean. He may have heard something through the grapevine that for 2 years he's been training solid and he's been knocking
Right.
out guys, inspiring, and he has improved or something. He's probably heard something because um I think it's. Do you think it's like 50-50? Like it's a bit of Wilder's thinking, shit, man. I just rather have an easy, finish to the year. You know what I mean? It's been a bad year for me. Let me just finish the year easy, or
Well, we don't. Yeah, we don't know yet, man. We don't know. It could be a lot of speculative things, man. We don't know.
yeah.
I'm not gonna go that far because that's kind of very that's conspiracy.
Or do you think they're selling the fight? They're just doing it to sell the fight.
I don't I don't want to say that either, but to me, if the financials hasn't been discussed, I don't see how that could sell a fight. But I mean, that's possible. That's possible. But to me, still, I just find it strange that you have the venue booked, you have the ticket selling, you got the seating arrangements, you got the networks on board. They're advertising the fight, and yet you still have a deal that's yet to be reached. I don't understand that. So it could be many scenarios. I'm not, I shouldn't rule out that maybe Wilder knows something in that camp that we don't know. That I won't go far to say that he's spooked. I'm not saying he's afraid. He's not afraid of Rene Severn. I don't believe that.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But 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 maybe there's something we don't know that he knows. Look, we don't know. We're just only speculating right now, man.
Yeah.
We're only speculating right now. But like I said, the only thing we do know is that the fight has been finalized. I find that very odd, even though the fight is not what we're clamoring for. But to me, that's strange, and I feel that it's amateurish on both sides.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, this is just not how you do things. I mean, seriously, especially when this news come out, this could also hinder the the course that the tickets are selling at this point. You know, people are gonna look at that and say, "Whoa, wait a minute! I haven't bought my ticket yet, and the deal hasn't yet been finalized. Should I still buy my ticket at this point?
That's right.
What's going
Yeah.
on here?" That can deceive the consumers. That would definitely change the perception of the consumers if they're planning to buy tickets for the fight. So, yeah, man. But another we got to talk about here. This is gonna be a controversial one, Charlie Brown. No, this is gonna be controversial for you, brother.
Okay.
Well, the WBA has removed Luis Ortiz from their rankings, and let me bring up the report on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, they removed him. Let's see why.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know, man, I know. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, he failed the WBA drug test. Oh, he failed a separate drug test.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
obviously that was a blood pressure man.
Yeah.
This is okay. Let's see here. Well, he faces a ban from the WBA and removal from the rankings. So basically, I heard another separate story that he actually got removed. So let's see here. He faces ban and removal. I mean, it's not too much to go into it.
Oh
But
no.
he does have until he has until October 20th to get a B sample, but that has yet to be communicated with the body. If the
Yeah.
date
Yeah.
is reached without application, the WBA will proceed and publish a new resolution regarding the case. So here's two things.
Oh, it's the
One, the
same test.
WBA,
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same
yeah, it's the
test.
same test.
Okay. Then.
Yeah, it's the same test, not a different test. So my bad. So basically, what they're going to do is, okay, we'll allow you to test for the B sample, but they're not going to go the WBC route from the looks of it from the WBA. So it looks like they're going to more likely incline to moving from the rankings.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it looks like at this point. And the WBC is not going to do it. They just said that he's unfit to fight based off his his hypertension condition. So yeah, man, what do you think about this, man?
Oh man, it's very messy
Yeah,
situation, man. Um, I suppose. Oh gosh, there's a lot of red tape around that, man. It's a bit sad. I mean, they should have just taken the same stance, really.
yeah.
Just let them remain as mandatory. I don't know what's going on, man. I just saw it just now. Literally, as you said that, it popped up on my screen in the corner there. So I got an alert with that, but I don't know. I really don't know what to
Yeah.
say, man. I mean, boy.
Well, here's one thing. I know it's shocking. Here's the one thing I will have to say though. We cannot use this angle that the WBC is protecting Wilder. And please, please, I know some people are going to look at the WBA situation and say, "Hey, you see, the WBA is protecting Joshua." No, I'm not buying that either. Okay, there's some people who are going to go use that angle too. No, this is
No, I
Luis
think that
Ortiz's fault. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
no, you was right. I was gonna say basically I think because they had to be seen to be doing the right thing. I think that they took a moral stance on that one. So that
Right,
they
I
didn't
agree.
look. Yeah, because that's what I think. That's the only thing I can think it is. But um, yeah, I think Ortiz has blown a very good chance.
Yeah,
To unify a division, man. So he's got a 6-month ban now, but still, I mean, it might not affect things. He just has to fight somebody now. I just think that's the whole thing. What it is, he has to get in the ring now and fight somebody else and make his way back up the rankings again. But it's very
yeah.
convenient. Yeah, it's very, very too convenient. And I wonder what if Mendoza was under pressure from a particular person to make it happen.
Yeah, it could be because I find it strange because, look, if the WBC say, look, we're not calling you a cheat, it's just that you failed to disclose this information on your application. That's what you had to do. You knew about this. Why didn't you
Yeah,
do it? Okay, fine. Based off your explanation and your letter of your letter of explanation, I should say. Okay, we'll take that into account, but we don't see you medically fit to fight.
yeah,
Okay, I'll take that argument, but my thing is with the WBA, like you said, why could they take that under consideration? Why they just go ahead and issue all of a sudden they go just go ahead and remove him from the rankings like that? Uh,
hmm
I don't I don't know, man. This is weird. Now Red Fox is in the comment section. He's like, look, this is what he says here. Quote, Red Fox. So the WBA is now is that we
hey,
back Joshua. We
yeah.
back Joshua. Ah, man. See, you knew somebody's gonna go there on that. Come on, Red Fox, man. Nah, I'm not accepting that, man. Come on, dude.
We back AJ.
You know,
He
you,
said.
oh man.
um, it's very convenient because he was the mandatory, and he would have had
Right.
to fight. Joshua would have had to fight him afterwards. So now they've,
Oh,
you
so
know
you
what I
think
mean?
Eddie Hearn and Joshua could have got in there and told the WBA, you better penalize them, otherwise you guys gonna have a lawsuit in your hands or something like that? You think that could happen?
I don't know, but I just think they're just clearing the way so that the Wilder unification happens. But then again, this is all hypothetical talking. I mean,
Yeah.
this is, I mean, is this fight with Wilder and Stavern going to happen now? It's what's happened today is really the two things that have happened. That's happened, and now they're saying that the Wilder and Stavern fight is
You
not finalized yet.
you guys gonna be on for a while? You guys are gonna watch the fight and be on live?
Yeah, we're gonna get off at a few, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
we're gonna
saying you
watch
guys
the.
are gonna be on while the fights are going on, or
Well, I think I'm gonna just hit the chat when the fights go on. Then after that, because obviously I don't want a copyright strike. Because you cannot play the fight in the
yeah.
background when y'all live hangout. You can't do that. I mean, you can put it on
Oh yeah,
silent.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you
Well,
can't do that.
EJ might do something. EJ will probably.
Yeah, he'll probably put a link in there during the live hangout. Yeah, I mean he'll
Yeah,
probably do that. I
somebody
don't know,
that
man.
I'll check you guys out a little bit later.
But
Okay then, man. Okay then. Yeah. So
yeah,
um, I it's I just think they've cleared the way for AJ and Wilder to happen. And I think what's happening here is that I don't think we're gonna get this Stavern and Wilder fight either. And it's just gonna
yeah,
be unification, straight unification. And this is provided put AJ beats Pulev.
mm, yeah. I mean that's true. Well, let's say that's true. I mean that's a likely scenario. It could be, but here's the thing. Like I said, we're all using hypotheticals right now, and from the looks of it, since Ortiz will be removed from the WBA, rankings as the mandatory, that will definitely clear the way for Wilder and Joshua fight to happen sooner than we expected. If Eddie Hearn decides to go that route, if you say, you know what, let's take another interim fight before that happens,
Yeah,
okay, fine. But I mean, look, I know so here's what's going to happen now. Since that Ortiz is out of the way, he's not in the WBA ranked mandatory, and there's definitely going to be a serious push for the Wilder and Joshua fight to happen now. I mean, happen sooner than later.
yeah.
So that's what's going to happen at this point. And look, if people go ahead and advocate for that, okay, fine. But just let's keep it civil, guys. Just don't make it a robbery. So
Yeah,
we,
I'm okay for whatever big fights are gonna happen, but that's been a horrible year, man. I don't know. It just makes me think, Ortiz, man, this is all over not declaring blood pressure medication. Then it's over. The WBC cleared him basically, but they didn't publicly
right,
clear him, which they should have. They should have publicly cleared him, so the whole world over, his innocence was, was out there, and they should have put
right.
people. A representative should have put the people straight. Um, so it's just a messy situation, man. But it doesn't look good. If this Wilder fight doesn't happen, it's doesn't look good at all. So I'm hoping that Wilder does fight Stavern now.
Right.
Well, I did anyway when it was announced, but it's more than likely it has to really, really happen now. But it's a messy situation, man. This
Right.
heavyweight, and
It is very. Go
it's
ahead.
not gonna it's not gonna be good for Wilder. This is not looking good for Wilder's team either. Maybe not Wilder, but Wilder's team, because maybe people won't want to deal with him. Maybe you know what I mean. I don't know if let's just. I don't like I said. I don't like to talk ahead, but win, lose or draw, that fight would still be big between AJ and Wilder anyway. Even if
It will still
I
be.
yeah, even if
Yeah.
Pulev does do the unthinkable. Um, I, I, I just I can't. I don't know. I can't see Joshua sitting down and going through all of that with Wilder.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be. You know, here's the thing. When we look at this, once they both get through their mandatory fights,
Yeah,
uh, then we have to see what's going to happen next. What's the next move going to be here? Now that Ortiz will no longer be the mandatory challenger, the WBA, he's out the
yeah,
way, and the WBC won't clear him to fight until he's medically fit, according to what they're saying. So now the question is, what's going to happen next? Will they finally get? Will they do the unification bout sooner than later, like as I previously mentioned, or are they going to still go ahead and get another interim fight between and then wait till next year? So that will be a lot of questions that's going to be asked here. And Red Fox actually agree with you. He says, look, they publicly smeared him, so why not publicly clear him, the WBC?
yeah.
So yeah,
That's right.
that's a good point. That they should have done that at least, but you know, and from the looks of it, yeah, again, man, Luis Ortiz. I don't think he didn't mean to do this on purpose, but you just got careless, man. You know better,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know better. Or his managers or his management team, they knew better. It's like, come on, dude. This is you just can't do critical errors like
That's right.
this.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I
Critical,
agree with that.
right, man. Oh, dude. But again, this heavyweight scene is messed up, man. I agree with you on this one. I mean, first Ortiz is getting banned by the WBA. Now you got the Wilder-Stiverne 2 fight not being finalized. They don't, you know, it's like, what in the world's going on here? You
That's right. And
know,
I hear that Povetkin's and Christine Hammer hasn't been finalized yet either. He's still
oh, still in the
they're still,
works.
yeah. That's not definitely gonna happen. And oh gosh. Oh, it's gonna be interesting that fight as well.
Oh boy. And, you know, it goes back to my initial thoughts about the heavyweight division. Comparing this heavyweight division of today compared to the '80s. I'll
Yeah,
say right now, the '80s division was much better back then. A lot of people like to criticize that division because Tyson dominated it. But if
yeah,
you look at those fighters of that time compared to the fighters of today, I'll pick most of those top fighters of the '80s beat these fighters of today. I'm just being honest. I pick most of them to beat them.
yeah,
So but it just the point is to not just it's not just but based off the pedigree and the level of skill. It's more the activity level. Those guys fought each other all the time back then.
yeah. That's right.
Now it's like now we ain't got nobody. Nobody's fighting each other. But Red Fox says here, look. So let me get this straight. The WBA for this, I'm paraphrasing what he's saying here. So basically, he's saying, okay, this is what he said. He said, look, how come the WBA kept Povetkin? Because
Yeah,
the WBA is now is banning Ortiz, but they kept Povetkin. Well, here's the thing, Red Fox. Povetkin was removed from all the rankings after he failed his second drug test. He was removed. So it took him about what 6 months, yeah, about less than 6 months to get back into the rankings. Obviously, we
yeah,
know because he's got a big financial backing behind him. But he was moved from the WBA, bro. The only section of the body that was removed that refused to remove him from the rankings at that time, and they took him long enough was the WBC.
yeah.
So yeah. What else? King Slender says that Wilder versus should be fight Christian Hammer. Ah, come on, man. Come on, seriously.
He's joking. I think
I,
he's joking, man. He's joking.
I hope he's joking, but Red Fox agrees with him. Red Fox actually agrees with him. Yeah, I'd rather see Wilder versus Hammer over Wilder versus Stiverne. Nah, man. Yeah, you know he actually is joking. And Slender
Yeah,
was
they're
joking.
joking.
Everybody thought he was.
Hammer is terrible, man. He is terrible.
Uh, Oh man. Hey, St. Cruz says that the 80s and 90s heavyweight divisions are about better. Yeah, they are. They were
Yeah,
better.
they
I ain't
were
gonna lie.
better. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I
Dick
agree there.
Justice. Yeah. Shout out to Dick Justice, man. I think he's in the UK too. He said even Tony Chubbs is Tony Tubbs, man, not Chubbs. Yeah, he was a chubby guy, but Tony Tubbs will beat most of the heavyweights today. Yeah, Tony Tubbs would definitely beat most of
Yeah,
the
he would.
heavyweights, in my opinion. He
Yep.
would have. Uh, yeah. So
The only thing about
yeah,
the
so
80s
yeah.
is that
But
coke. A lot of them did coke in it and stuff like that, but not steroids.
that's true. That is a good point. Yeah, they did. They were all coke. You know, all the 80, you know, the 80s was a crack and cocaine epidemic. I mean, it was really
That's right.
widespread back then,
That's right.
particularly in the
Yeah.
states. Man, it was rampant. You know, we see a lot of lives get destroyed, a lot of public figures' careers get destroyed due to their drug uses over there back then.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we all know how the cocaine got flooded over here. I'm not going to go into all that, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
other than that, yeah. But Mr. Doc says that, hey, Dan, you're underrated. Christian Hammers win over David Price. What? Come on, Mr. Doc. I know you're joking, man. I know you laughing.
He's joking. He is joking.
Yeah.
I could imagine him laughing.
I know. Ah, man. Look, first of all, I know we're upset with the Wilder-Stiverne rematch, but Christian Hammer definitely not in the fight I want to see. And don't get me wrong, Christian Hammer is a decent heavyweight, but that's not the fight. He's not on world level. Let's be honest. He's definitely that's a fight that Wilder. I do not want to see Deontay Wilder fight. Of all people, no. Again, the fight that I'd rather see him fight if the Stiverne fight does not happen. Let's just say hypothetically, if he doesn't fight Stiverne, to get Amir Mansour in there. That's all I gotta
Yeah.
say. Get him in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Amir Mansour, because yeah, I'd like to see that. Yep.
yeah, I like to see that, and I said this many times. Mansour is very underestimated, very underrated. You know, he's been the thing about Mansour, I don't know if this is some type of conspiracy against him or something
Yeah.
like that, because I know a while back, and I mentioned this early on in my hangout, he fought for a ranking for the WBC against Travis Kaufman and won that fight. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he gets abruptly removed from the WBC rankings. So I don't understand what's going on with him. He gets either pushed down the rankings, he moves slightly up, then he goes all the
Yeah.
way back
That's
down.
true. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know what
That's
is going on. It seems like there's a campaign against him. I don't know, man. The dude is trying so hard, man. If fighters don't want to fight him, Povetkin didn't want to fight him. White didn't want to fight him. Who else didn't want
maybe
to
he
fight him?
should
One
fight
time,
Briggs. Briggs
Briggs
versus
don't want to fight that
Mansour.
guy. Yeah, Briggs don't want
Serious?
that fight. Yeah, Briggs don't want that fight. He don't want it. He even said himself. I think he was on EJ in Beats' interview hangout one time. He was on there years back when he was making that comeback. He said he's like, "Look, I'm not in a position to be taking tough fights no more. I don't have to do that. I'm not doing that no more." I'm like, okay. So and Mansour called him out
Wow.
many times, called a few times, and Briggs was being dismissive and ignored him. So to me, yeah. So if Dillian White didn't want to fight the guy. Povetkin didn't want to fight him. Who else didn't want to fight him? Wilder one time didn't want to fight. What's his name? Mansour. I remember that, and a lot of people, some of the guys get at me for bringing this up. I mean, it's true. Wilder didn't want to fight the dude because
Yeah, that's true.
at one time, this is what happened when Wilder's team reached out to Mansour, right? Mansour said that I'll take the fight, and they offered him 300 grand to take it. He said, "Cool, I'll take the fight." So next thing you know, out of nowhere, I guess it got back to Wilder that Mansour accepted the fight. He accepted. We got an opponent for you as Amir Mansour. He accepted the terms. Then all of a
Yeah.
sudden the fight gets called off. They fought. What's the name? Arthur Spilkin instead. And Mansour was livid, dude. This dude put out a response video saying, "Motherfucker, you gonna do that shit?" First of all, they asked me to fight you. I agreed to the terms. I said yes, and all of a sudden you
Oh
gonna
yeah,
fight.
yeah. I remember that. I do remember that. Yeah. Mansour.
Well, at first though,
A
here's
lot
the
of
thing.
people don't want to fight him.
Yeah, exactly. At first, what happened was before the Spilka fight, what happened was is that they decided to not go with Mansour, even though Mansour initially agreed. They decided they want to go after Shannon Briggs, and Shannon Briggs would price himself out in that situation. He wanted more than what they offered him. He wanted way
Okay.
more. Yeah, so that's why that fight didn't happen. So that's why they fight Arthur Spilka instead. This was like what late 2015 when Waddle was trying to find an opponent. So
Okay.
yeah, well, that's how that whole Wilder Mansour situation came about, man. That's what I'm telling people. That's what happened, man. Amir actually accepted that fight, and all of a sudden, Wilder's team they backed out the last minute. So King Slender said here, Mansour is very dangerous. He's much tougher than Spilka. I agree. He's a very dangerous heavyweight. Very dangerous. I mean, even at that age, it's like he can't even get fights. So, man, he's been trying to get fights with Povetkin. He's been trying to get fights with Dillian White.
Yep.
He's been trying to get fights. He was trying to get fights with everybody, man. It's just like nobody wants to give this guy a shot, and it's frustrating to see a man go through this situation. You know, if you want
Yep.
to talk about being ducked, that guy's being ducked. Okay, so yeah, man. So let me see what else we got going on, man. A couple more things, and we probably have to tune into the fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spence Spence-Cotto, man. I know we talked about this earlier before. But to me, I don't know, man. I have a bit of change of thought, man. To me, I think that Earl Spence should have taken that Cotto fight, man. I really think he should have. I know people are gonna disagree with me on this one, but
Mhm.
uh, to me, I think he should have done it. I think because obviously he would have got a very big payday. It
Yeah.
would have
Yeah.
been you know, it could have perhaps gave him a opportunity of becoming a bigger fighter star that he is now, in my
Yeah.
opinion. In front of a sold out crowd at Madison Square Garden in the the main section, not the 20,000 seat Madison Square Garden, not the theater room.
Yeah. That's true.
But if he to me, I think he should have taken that fight, man. In my opinion, no, don't get me wrong. The Lamont Peterson fight is okay. It's a good fight.
Maybe
Much
it's
better fight.
maybe it was the fact that he would have had to fight a
I'm
multi-fight
sorry.
deal. Maybe it was the fact that he would have had to fight a multi-fight deal. Is the reason why he turned it down.
Right, right. And say Cruz is like a Simon Girl, Golden Girl. No way. Yeah, you know what? Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. Yeah, here's the thing, man. I understand that St. Cruising, man, but look, I don't know, man. Look, I know Golden Boys been they've been shady with their businesses and they have their internal problems with that racist communications that's going on between their marketing director and in Mexico
Yep.
and whatnot. I totally get all that, man. I totally get all that. But from what I've been hearing, there's people willing to sign on Golden Boy at this point. I mean, they have their reasons, but to me, look, I wish he could have negotiated and say, you know what? Here's the thing. I'm just only theorizing.
Mhm.
I'll do maybe 2 fights with you. I'm not doing no more than that. I don't know. I don't know, man. I just think that maybe he should have taken that fight. That's just part of me. I understand. Part of me understand why he didn't take it.
Yeah.
Another part of me says that he should have taken that fight. That's just my opinion on it, man. I know Charlie Brown. You make good sense on it. Everybody makes good sense.
Mhm.
Uh, and Mr. Doc says, "Look, Oscar single-handedly ruined his fishnet pantyhouses for everyone." Yeah, man. And the thing about Oscar too, man, he should have condemned that situation with that racist those the slanderous racial email situation. He should have handled that much better way. And since he didn't do that, that's why he's getting the smear, getting smeared the way he is. That's his own
Yeah.
doing. That's nobody else's fault but him. But to me, I don't know. Part of me says that Pitt should have taken that fight, man. Look, a
Well,
lot of
it's
people
on.
go disagree.
It's
But go ahead.
I kind of agree with you because Koto didn't take the Margarito fight. I thought that Koto was holding out because he wanted the trilogy fight with Margarito because
Yeah,
that's what they were talking about that fight.
yeah,
So I thought that was what he was gonna do. Um,
yeah.
because that would have made a lot of money for the Hispanic market, and he could have. But he's fighting a guy called Saddam Ali now. So
Right,
Saddam Ali. He's fighting him on the 2nd of December.
right.
Um, this guy, what's he, 25-1? I'm looking at his record now. He hasn't really fought that many people. I've never really heard of this guy actually, man. To say the truth, he's from Brooklyn. This is the guy who he's
Right.
fighting now. So I don't know. That could possibly be his last fight. I don't know
Yeah,
what Cotto's playing at, but I don't know.
yeah. I don't know either, man. Yeah, you know what? Like I said, I don't look. Here's the thing: I do not disagree with people in the conversation. Say, look, if this is a multi-fight deal, Spence did the right thing to not to take the fight. I agree with that argument. I'm not going against it. But to
Mhm.
me, I just think that part of me think he should have maybe taken that chance. Maybe there was a lucrative offer there. I mean, if his loyalty to Al Heyman, okay, fine, your loyalty to him, cool. But what people are going to say is that you need to get active there. You got to do. You know, you only fought what once this year, what twice this year, I guess, once this year,
Yeah. How much is he going to get
and
to fight Peterson though? He's going to get at least $4 million though,
about three
or
and a half.
something like
Yeah,
that.
3.5 million. Yeah,
Three
three
and
and
a
a half
half
million
million.
dollars.
So that's not too bad. That's not too bad.
No, no, yeah, not too bad, not too bad at all. But yeah, it's not a bad offering. But the thing is that he needs to get active, man. He just needs to be more active. That's what people are looking for. I'm just looking for activity. Okay, if you don't get the Cotto fight, okay. To me, part of me say he should have taken it, but at the same time, just get active, man. Because if you're not being active, then this is going to cause problems amongst boxing fans. Because this is what happened to Keith Thurman.
Yeah.
When he started collecting the belts, all of a sudden now he hasn't been more active. Same thing with Donna Stevenson. Donna Stevenson doesn't
But you
have
see,
he hasn't been active.
yeah,
I mean, I know we don't talk about that, but let's be honest, he hasn't been active. I mean, most of it, it's just like I don't know, man. It's just like look. I'm gonna give Al Heyman, try to give him the benefit of the doubt to some degree, but at the same time, and let's be honest here, let's be rational. It's very
yeah,
difficult to manage over 200 fighters on your roster. It's very difficult to make everyone happy.
yeah,
And to me, it's like if most of those prime fighters are not getting, if they're not being active enough, then you gotta make them happy somehow. You gotta either give them fights, or they're gonna go somewhere else and go somewhere who's gonna give them fights. That's what I've heard. Eddie Hearn. That's why people called Eddie Hearn up to get to sign with him because he's gonna get fighters active, get them fights. So
yeah,
I don't know, man. I just want some activity, man. That's all I want. I want some activity from these guys, man. They need to start fighting at least 3 times a year, maybe twice,
yeah,
but 3 times a year. They need to start
yeah.
getting active, man.
I was gonna say that it's gone are the days where they can fight 4 times a year. Even 3 times a year is quite hard to do nowadays because of all the red tape, all the politics, the money, selling a fight, everything. So if they could fight twice a year at top level, that's a blessing.
Right.
That's how I see it. I think Spence is doing the right thing. I know people probably won't agree, but he's going to be fighting in January. That gives him at least more than what's that? More than 16 weeks to train. Yeah, more than
Yeah.
12 weeks. Put it that way. Yeah, just under 16 weeks to train. He's getting $3.5 million, and it's at the beginning of the year in January, so it does free up space for him to fight in summer and in the fall again. So he will fight 3 times next year, and hopefully we can get a unification with Furman if everything goes according to plan.
Right. 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 Definitely. Definitely. Definitely agree with that. Definitely
Yeah,
agree with that. But
I'll leave
yeah,
it I'll leave it there. I won't say anything else. I'm sure you
yeah,
could.
me too. I
Yeah,
might as well. Yeah, I might as well just leave it there too. But again, like I said, it's my opinion. I just really think that he probably should have taken that fight, taken a chance to get that fight. Because to me, I think it'll give him the better recognition, more recognition. I mean, then
yeah,
okay, fine. If you're not gonna fight Cotto for the recognition at that point, I get you. But what you need to do now is just be more active. That's all you need to do. Starting with the Peterson fight. I like to see you fight at least twice a year, no more than twice, at least twice a year, no less than that. Because
hmm,
once a year or a little to the year, that's going to be a big problem. We can't do that, and that's why I got to get on Keith Thurman for doing this. All right, so Keith Thurman, next year when you come back, brother, you got to start being active, man. You got to start
yeah,
defending your titles, brother. You got to do it. And some people are running around saying Keith Thurman is ducking Errol Spence. I mean, yeah, he's being dismissive, so I'll call it ducking. But to be fair though, what happened when Terrence Crawford had called out Errol Spence about a few days ago? Why did Errol Spence respond to Terrence Crawford? What's up with that?
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just
That's
saying. I'm just saying.
yeah.
I just like to
Ponytail
be
needs
fair,
to get in
man.
the ring. No, no, definitely. This is all because of Keith Thurman, though. Because Keith Thurman, yeah, I mean, he wasn't. He's just going to come back from an injury, and
Uh,
possibly he's looking at the fact that maybe a rematch with Garcia will will net him more money than fighting Spence. Although I don't agree, I think the Spence fight is massive for both
Right.
fighters. But
Right.
I'm not. I kind of blame Thurman for this one. I don't really blame Spence for how things have gone. It's more Thurman you have
Right.
to get on. But again, it's
Yeah.
we live in different times now. Once a guy is a champion now, the management and everything else, the networks, everybody's really lobbying for the guy to remain champion, especially if he
Oh
sells
yeah.
tickets and pay-per-views.
Right.
So that's the problem with it. It's the politics in itself that makes it like that. But I don't agree with it, but I'm getting used to it. So if they can fight two times a year, two major fights, then I'm happy.
Right.
Free's a blessing. Really, really, it really is nowadays.
I totally get you on that one, brother. But hey, the fight's about to come on soon, so I'm gonna go ahead and just
Yes.
hang out for now, and then I'll come back on later tonight. So, anyways, shout out to Charlie Brown Boxing. Thanks for coming in, brother. I really
Thanks,
appreciate it.
man.
And Brian the Barber, I know he got off for now. Shout out to Brian. Shout out to Mr. Doc, D Style, Blood in the comment section, St. Cruz and Red Fox, King Slender. I know you've been joking around. Dick Justice, Truth and Facts. Bo was in there for a moment. Shout out to Bo, man. I forgot. I didn't want to forget about you, Bo. And Rayshawn Hudson. So all you guys, Nino Brown, Ross Clot, Great Drink. So I got all you guys, Dutch Entertainment. I like to get all these guys shout outs in the comment section, bro, because I don't want to feel left out. But anyways, we're gonna end it here for now. Oh yeah, before we end it, I gotta get on to WNBA talk though. I know you guys don't want to hear this, but I'll just go ahead and get it out anyway. So the San Antonio Stars are going to be relocated. They've been sold, but to an undisclosed buyer based in Las Vegas. It is funny though because they have, the WNBA's office has yet to disclose this information. They said that the sale is still in works. We're still in the current negotiations. They'll provide us additional information. But nonetheless, Bill Laimbeer gets hired as the head coach after the transition is completed. Now, the question is that, wait a minute, how could these transitions happen without the final approval? Because the WNBA and the NBA board governors have to approve on this. So I find that very odd that they're moving on this very quickly and this information got leaked out. So based off current reports, the transaction is expected to be approved by the board of governors by both the NBA and the WNBA, but there's a possibility that it may not be approved. So the Stars could end up staying in San Antonio. That's a possibility, but we don't know. But anyways, I'm out, y'all. I'll get you guys later on.